Hello, this is Grillenheimer. Thanks for watching. Welcome back. Now, we got behind us, no, I'm not wearing a white shirt, is Gauntlet 7 Sorrows. It kind of went dark on me, but I'm not worried about it. This is take 2. Now, the verse for tonight is Proverbs 18:10. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runs into it and is safe. That's what I have written here, which is right from my old Bible. Now, the name of the Lord looks like YHWH. Some pronounce it or mispronounce it Yahweh, the unpronounceable name of the Lord. And that is what this really means in here, the name of the Lord. That we have the assurance that His love can take care and encompass us. Now, we need to take that for our Father with our earthly fathers as well. We run to Him when we are righteous, like He is a strong tower. A tower. That's kind of why I put on the Gauntlet 7 Sorrows. There's no real tower in there, but I mean, you're like running through castles and etc. and stuff. But, you know, what is an old castle, fortification, tower built out of? Rock. And some of the ancient rocks that we have found of old forts, castles, ruins, they're huge. And that is what this is referring to and referencing to. And with what we are seeing with young men and a lot of millennials and all this other political corruptness going on that I don't want to get into in this video, we need a little more harumph. All right? Now, and which leads me to a story about my grandparents. Not much of a story, just more of a parallel. When my grandmother, when they were both still alive, my grandfather worked all day. My grandmother, she stayed at home. She kept the house. She kept things clean. She washed her soaps. She made breakfast. She made dinner. She'd fix his lunch, etc. My grandfather had a full-time job. He did anything that was broken, he could fix it. There wasn't a might or a maybe or a possibility. He could fix it. You know, these people came from the Great Depression. Before recycling came into being, they recycled and reused everything because everything was American made and was made to last. And when things broke, they made sure it could keep going and working and being able to be used, etc. You didn't just simply go out and, you know, throw it out if it broke and went back to Walmart to buy a new one. You know, they just didn't do that kind of stuff. But what I'm getting to is that, yeah, my grandfather sort of had his place. My grandmother sort of had her place. But you would find my grandfather in the kitchen because he understood that his wife had a full day, and she would dust every day, clean this, clean that, mop, sweep, whatever. Like I said, she was a stay-at-home mom, and even when the kids left, including my dad was one of them, that he would get in the kitchen and do the dishes. when they got a dishwasher, yeah, they would use a dishwasher, but half the time, more than half the time, he would hand wash the dishes. Um, and we would have a little home away from home that wasn't his house, it wasn't our house, it wasn't my cousin's house, and we would go there, and after all of us, I mean, there would be like almost 12 of us in this one little shack or house in the middle of nowhere. Not really. And grandmother, she couldn't make a meal for just two or three people. She made a meal for an army. An army. And the family she grew up in was really only about a family of five. And one of her siblings died at a very young age. So really a family of, about five. Five and a half. We'll say that. Now, where am I going with this, Grillenheimer? Get to the point. I know. That she would make all this big meal, and my mom would help, and my aunt would help, and then my other aunt would help, and then they would all come. We would eat, and then my grandfather and me, we would be the ones. Well, everybody would help clean up. My grandfather and I would do the dishes. Hand washing the dishes. And it was a wonderful time for us to bond. I'll never forget those times. I forgot everything he said, unfortunately. But it was just a great time to bond. He would wash, I would dry. Sometimes we might mix it up. But he was a man in the kitchen. Okay? After she passed, he did his own laundry. Okay? He could juggle other things. He just couldn't cook. He could make a sandwich. He would make his oatmeal. But somebody would always come. Or if he wasn't buying out for his dinner, somebody would bring him something or go to his house and cook. Okay? But he could fend for himself before he got too old to where he couldn't. Long after my grandmother passed in the 90s. What I'm getting with is that he was a man. He was a little sexist, but he was very versatile too. He wasn't too one. He didn't have a one-track mind. There was nothing he couldn't do. If we needed something fixed, we went to him. He could fix anything. Like I said, they came from the Great Depression days. The Dust Bowl. They came from that era. So if it could be fixed, he'd fix it. And he was constantly tinkering with the cars, maintaining the lawn mowers, doing all sorts of stuff. Just whatever needed to be fixed, he'd fix it. They never used a plumber, barely a roofer. He was a licensed electrician. He could do it all. And we confided in him. We ran to him for help. He wouldn't just do it for us. He would also show us how it was done, which was wonderful. We didn't have YouTube back then. We didn't have the internet. We just had my grandfather. So he was our strong tower. And as when we are righteous, when we keep ourselves separate from the world, we can run to God. Just as we should be able to run to our own fathers, that should be strong enough to help hold us up in the physical world with anything. And that's kind of what we're missing in today's society. Are strong men being able to not just have a strong backbone and being able not exactly say what we want and get away with it kind of card. No. But we need to have stronger men, stronger young men that are able to know when to back off, know when to bite our tongue, but know when to take charge and know when to delegate, and always keeping God first. This is how the Europeans, or what my grandfather told me, this is one. We say this is one, but it's rude to point over there, so this is one. All right? Got that in there. What do you know? So we need to confide in our men. How can we confide in our men if we're rearing soy boys and young men who don't think they know what they are, and so they run to counselors? They don't need to be running to counselors. You need to be talking to your dads. You need to be bonding with your fathers if you have a father or a father figure of some sort. If you don't, you need to buck up and become your own owner of your own responsibilities. And that means you're growing up fast. Sometimes too fast. And when that happens, some guys don't take that very well. I think that's what some of this, maybe not all, some of this is what's happening, because we do have a lot of families that aren't just, partners and partners crap going on. That's why a family needs a strong father and a strong and soft mother. And most of the time, yes, the mother really rules the household. You don't mess with the mother. You didn't mess with my grandmother. She was the one with the strong-willed pants in the family. Well, let me tell you, there were strong women in my family, in my history of families, at that too. I could go on, but I don't want to ramble. I've gone on too long already, and I can't see my time. So, with that, let's go back to Proverbs 18:10 and read this again. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runs into it and is safe. Runs where? Into the tower. Because the stones they made the towers of back then were huge. It was a fortification. And we need strong men, not just physically, not just clever, but of strong-willed, of strong spirit, godly men, quick thinking and knowledgeable. With the internet and YouTube and all sorts, we can learn all sorts of stuff. You can learn how to fix a lawnmower. You can learn how to do some of your own plumbing. You can learn how to fix some of your own vehicle repairs. Anybody can do it. Doesn't even have to be a guy. Okay? But we have to own up to our responsibilities. We can't just whine and complain. I can't do it. I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to take care of this. I'm getting tired of taking care of you. Whoa. You're not even, if you're a young man with a family, you can't even start even thinking that way about your wife or your own kids. That's when this shallow world has wrapped you up and ready to just throw you out because you're saying goodbye to responsibility. We have to take hold of our responsibility. I've had to also. Like in a previous video, we have to learn to hold our tongue, not complain, and just get things done. This is what fatherhood is all about. And with that, we need to remember to pray to our loving Father who loves us all when we keep ourselves righteous, which isn't always easy. So with that, let's read Proverbs 18:10 one more time, and I will let you go. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runs into it and is safe. So that's the verse for the night. And think about your responsibilities and your priorities and where things lay. in the order of things before we even get to this stuff. This should be on the bottom of our list. And I've had my plate so full lately, I haven't hardly played a thing. I played a card game. I've been playing that card game a little bit more than I have games. But I thought of a fortification in a strong tower, and I put on Gauntlet, 7 Sorrows. I don't even know if you can see it or not. So with that, thank you for watching if you made it this far, and have a blessed night, and read about this, pray on this, and if this is the word you needed, if this was the encouragement that you needed to say, I do need to stand with a straighter back. I do need to take more action. I do need to take more not control of my life, but making the decisions you need to make to simply get things done. And when you need help, delegate. Get help from your family, from your friends, whoever. With that, thank you. Thank you for watching. If this video has encouraged you, give it a like. I don't normally say that very often, but give it a like. And have a great night. Good night.